And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Wednesday. It's January 7th. It's 2026. Yes, 2026. Hey, hope you're having a good day. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made promises to you throughout the years. The main promise, because there's been so much noise and interference, measured by we'll be at 40 trillion of debt very soon. We will have no bias, agenda, or ulterior motive when it comes to who. We will tell you like it is, whether you like it or not, whether you hate it or not, whether you love it or not, whether it's your favorite, whether it's the one you can't stand. We are free market capitalists here. We believe as long as you are living and working and doing within the rule of law, as long as you're a company, live and work and do within the rule of law, an individual working, living, doing within the rule of law, and wanting to do better for yourself and your family, have at it. We do not believe in anyone over your head with a machete and a mallet cutting you down. We believe in the free market to be your best. Now, we're not naive. We know in certain circumstances, you got to have rules that you have to live by. You have to have some regulations that you have to live by. But what we're going to be talking about, unfortunately, at the outset today, is what we think, and you may not, is overreach, again, by a man who is no free market capitalist, who believes in the engineering of things, who believes can do no wrong, even though crashed the markets back last April and had to change the stance immediately because of doing wrong. And we take absolutely no joy in this. We do not have Trump derangement syndrome. We have complimented him beyond the beyond on many a thing, but we have to take him to task on others. And when we say to you on this show in the introductions, we will talk to you about markets, the economy, the Morlocks in D.C., because more now than ever, they don't stop. They keep bugging and bothering and never leaving us alone. That's what we're going to do today at the outset. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we will post it at GaryK.com, also on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. Also on the podcast apps and the BizTV YouTube channel. If you'd like to email me, just be nice. Ladies and gentlemen, today, Lockheed Martin down $25. General Dynamics down $15. Northrop Grumman down $33. The president. All U.S. defense contractors and the defense industry as a whole, beware. Defense contractors are currently issuing massive dividends to their shareholders. That is a lie. Out of the president's mouth. Northrop Grumman yearly dividend is 1.6%. Lockheed Martin 2.7%. General Dynamics 1.7%. He goes on to blast salaries, stock options, and every other form of compensation being too high for the executives of our defense companies. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me state the obvious, and you know it. If it was Joe Biden coming out with this statement, the right would be having crap fits over it about a president taking out a mallet and machete at an industry. I don't care whether it's the defense industry or the aluminum bat industry. Just let you know. That was number one. Now, I gather people could say, well, there's a component that they get a lot of our tax dollars. Yes, so? He goes on to say no executive should be allowed to make in excess of $5 million. This is the President of the United States getting involved with pay. And I asked the question, where will he stop? So we just want to let you know the defense stocks were squashed today. We don't know what the outcome is. We completely disagree. Oh, and he wants no stock buybacks either. So he lies about the dividends, and it's a lie. Provable. I just proved it. He used the words massive dividends to shareholders. That's number one. And since I would say the same thing if it was Joe Biden, I would say the same thing about the president. But we're not done, because all in the same day. Housing. For a very long time, buying and owning a home was considered the pinnacle of the American dream. It was the reward for working hard and doing the right thing. But now, because of the record high inflation caused by Joe Biden and the Democrats in Congress, that American dream is increasingly out of reach for far too many people. It is for that reason and much more I am immediately taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying more single-family homes, and I will be calling on Congress to codify it. People live in homes, not corporations. Really? The president now interfering in the housing market. BlackRock down $37. Blackstone down 6%. Apollo down almost 6%. So let's pick that one apart, because I gather there's a case for both sides there, except for one thing. No president should be doing this. Telling companies that are lawfully acting a certain way what to do? That's horse crap. But let's pick it apart. What are the complaints? These big companies are buying too many homes, and they're buying too many homes in one area, two areas, so it's very concentrated. And because of that, it's kind of sort of pinning the price the way they want and not market forces. That would be an argument brought up, right? Right? You know what my argument is? Good, stop them. Who's going to pick up the slack of future demand? That's number one. Number two, do you know how many smaller buy a bunch of homes? What are you going to tell them? Number three, what if these companies say, okay, we're just going to put all this crap on the market and get out because you're hurting our business? Boy, if the president wants to see affordability, wait till you see what would happen if they ever put all these on the market, which, by the way, is not happening. But what if it did? But back on the point, the president who has put tariffs on every industry and had to take them off, had to give exemptions to many, had to pay off the farmers because of them, while telling us tariffs are paid by other countries, to this day, is now interfering with the housing market and the defense industry. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on, and then today's market, which, by the way, got affected by this. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, my bigger picture. My bigger picture. My bigger picture. The president puts out a tweet, or whatever you call it these days. Hey, Starbucks. You're paying you're charging $4.95 for your breakfast sandwich, your spinach and feta wrap. What kind of crap is that? Apple. How much you charging for your new iPhone? What kind of crap is that? Can I continue? Because I can. I can go on every industry. What industry are you guys in? Any of you own a bar? How much you charging for that rum and coke? Too much. What would that do for you? Oh, you're a real estate broker? How much you charging? Trump might as well be a lefty Democrat on business. Oh, but he lowered taxes. He also raised taxes. That's tariffs. The market's been acting pretty well, but the Dow dropped 466 today. And I don't think there's a big cause and effect, except they came after the financials at the end of the day. That was cause and effect. Because if you're telling financial companies what they can't do, who's next? You know, he certainly opened the spigot on crypto as his sons are making hundreds of millions. There's no cap there. Oh, but your CEO at Lockheed Martin, no. You can't make 8. You're making 5. Is that the president's job? You tell me. You tell me. Anyway, I would say the exact same words if it was a lefty, a righty, if it was Bush on the right, if it was Obama on the left, Trump on the right, Clinton on the left, because we don't have sides. We only care about policy, and we now have the president interfering with 2 industries. And what we do know of government interfering with industries, they always screw them up. Why? Because you're distorting the free market. We know what Powell did. Government. completely distorted the free market. Housing is the way it is because of one man interfering with the free market, taking the 10-year yield down to 0.5% with conjured up money to buy the bonds to get it there, causing 3% or lower mortgages to where who the hell wants to sell a home with 3% mortgage when it was at 7%. What it does is forces up prices, hurts affordability. But then market forces eventually take over. Now you have massive inventory, and Fantasyland prices are now crumbling in many areas around the country. Jay Powell. But now you have Trump. You have the market used to these institutions doing what they're doing. Now he says they can't. He is going to screw up the housing market. And of course, Trump will blame it on Powell or somebody else. Mark those words down, and I take no joy. I want this man to succeed. I want him to do great things. But it's too much. And I would tell it to his face. Anyway, the Dow is down 466. Giveth and taketh. You know what was down today? Caterpillar and Goldman Sachs, the two highest price, 41 points total. 41 times 6.5. 41 times 6.5 equals 267 Dow points for those two that have really helped the market recently. And financials mostly lower. And I think that's in a little bit of sympathy with that news on you can't do that. I will tell you most of the day, well, the NASDAQ finished up. The mega cap tech had a good day. It was much better earlier until the Dow got hit late in the day. Microsoft was up 10, finished up 5. Google finished up 7. I never call it Alphabet. Nvidia was up almost 2. Amazon, well, was up 4. It was only up 60 cents. It's still up. But just mushy. I'll call it a no biggie. I think we were a little overbought near term anyhow. Pullbacks are okay. We'll take it. I hardly see any breakdowns today except maybe the Blackstone and BlackRock tucked in like a frightened turtle. And not much to add. Oh, wait. Why would cement stocks break down today? If institutions can't buy homes, do we lose the incentive to build homes? You know, you get to thinking. You just start the thinking. And the other question is, what is the market going to think? This is just a question. Will the market start worrying that the president is now thinking about industry after industry after industry and what's next? And who's next? And by the way, that was sarcasm about Starbucks. But the message was not sarcasm. If you make two... Let me go backwards. We'll do it up next on Investor's Edge. The political right forever has said, get your hands off corporate pay. I will guarantee you the political right is now going to kowtow to this president. Oh yeah, sure, okay, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, it's defense and they get taxpayer dollars, yeah, okay. What's next? Who's next? We hope it works out. We hope it all works out. We're rooting for him. If I met the president, I'd actually give him a hug for what he's done on the border, for what he's done for the colleges, stopping the ass clowns from letting the other ass clowns protest and threaten Jews. I'd give him a hug on Israel. I'd give him a hug on his golf courses. He's got great golf courses. One of the top ones I've ever played, and I played them all, is Scotland. I played Turnberry Trump, but that was before Trump owned it, so that doesn't matter. I give him a hug. But I've got to take him to task on our principles of free market capitalism. Low taxes, less regulations, get the hell out of the way. No tariffs. Now, speaking of tariffs, supposedly the Supreme Court is going to weigh in on Friday. The chalk is they may say tariffs are illegal. I don't want that. I want tariffs to be legal. I don't want tariffs to be onerous. Those 150% tariffs that were going to crash the markets, onerous. I do believe tariffs are good to use as a leverage in negotiations, but not onerous. I don't know what the outcome is going to be. Typically, this Supreme Court has kissed Trump's butt, but in the arguments, they've kind of gone towards not liking the tariffs. How will it affect things? I do not know. Supposedly that'll be Friday. Yippee-yay-yay. What else out of today? Well, they hit it just broad-based but not as bad as a Dow down 4. It was 2 stocks again. They brought them up, they took them down. But of course, American Express was down, JP Morgan was down 8. They're going to get the financials if you tell financial companies what they can and cannot do. What else? Oh, housing related was down. Housing stocks were down. Why would housing stocks be down? The president came out, you're going to lose demand. Imagine if Blackstone was going to be in a position to buy a bunch of homes. Let's say they did. They come off the market. That's less inventory. That's actually a good thing. And then slowly they sell them off. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And I'm no doofus. I understand if they go overboard and there's too much concentration in one area, they have control. But man, oh man. Either you're a free market capitalist or you are in there. What else did I notice today? As I said, the NASDAQ 100 finished up today, though way off the highs because the market came in later. The semiconductors down 78, but no big deal. I can tell you that SanDisk was down 20 earlier, finished up 5. Sienna was down 10 or 15, finished up 5. LIT was down 30, finished only down 6 after being up. So they're still okay. Some of the other semiconductors got hit pretty decently. There was some harsh pullbacks in some things, and some things had good days. I will tell you that the waking up today of the software security, like the CrowdStrikes, better day, but I can't take much out of it as of yet. Just a good day in a bearish phase. The crypto Bitcoin down again today, got rebuffed. The big rebuff at the declining 50-day moving average, which keeps it in the bear phase. The oils were down today. Oil prices came down a little bit. And as I said the day they had the big oil thing with Venezuela, I ain't touching. And you had some winners and losers. The winners have come down. The losers have actually bounced up, so I don't know what the heck's going to come of that. Switching over a little bit, the economy. The job number came in sucked. The other number came in was pretty good. So it's very weird that the economic stats, GDP, good, job numbers, bad. It's not often I've seen one good, one bad. I'm not sure what that means at this juncture. I'm just in hopes you all have jobs. Having a job is a good thing. And I've said to you in the past, if you work for somebody else, make sure you are somebody that is not expendable. Make sure you are a person that is dependent upon, that if you left, they got a big hole to fill. Like the Baltimore Ravens. They get rid of a great coach, Harbaugh, who's done a great job for them. Most of the people there said, no, let's not do that, but the owner said goodbye. And I am in hopes the Giants get him. He's already had 8 or 9 inquiries to be head coach. Other things I wanted to bring up to you today. I put it here somewhere. Oh, yeah. So we want to be careful. What do I always tell you about valuation and stuff? So recently, a bunch of the rocket ship stuff and space cellular stuff. Well, here's one that has hardly any sales, loses a bunch of money, and a $31 billion market cap. And the stock's been strong as of late. Simple ASTS. Got downgraded today, was down 12%, but it's still been strong. I'm always interested in seeing what people think on valuations. And let me read some to you. And at just the beginning. Without yet a single retail customer and faced with the challenge of orbiting 50 satellites to achieve continuous service in a handful of markets in late 26 or 2027, ASTS share price at $97.60 has once again $37 billion market cap. Let me repeat the beginning. Without yet a single retail customer. What have we said to you here? If nothing changes, and these areas of the market go into a bear market, they will all crash. And when we say if nothing changes, without a retail customer. And again, we're not ripping on the company, and I'm sure they're going to have customers. But you're paying $37 billion. When you're buying a share of stock, you're buying a valuation. Starbucks, when you go get a breakfast sandwich, you're paying $4 and some odd cents. Would you pay $25 for it? No. Would you pay $200,000 for a Toyota 4Runner? No. You want to pay good valuation. Well, you'd be paying $37 billion for a company without a retail customer. And, I brought up the quantum and the nuclear and the rare earths and the Bitcoin mining and the drones and all that stuff. We just want you to be careful. Why? Because, as we've said to you, even though they've crashed, a lot of them down 50, 60%, they may not be done. But I will tell you again, and this is 100% of the time because we've studied every bear market in the past. If nothing changes and they still have no sales, when that area of the market finally goes real bearish, forget about it. It's crushed. So I just wanted to bring this one up because I just saw what somebody said. Without a retail customer. Up next. This, that, and the other thing. This is the one only Investor's Edge. Other things going on. Some I understand and some I don't. The administration has put out new dietary guidelines. I'll quote somebody. They're going to war against added sugars and emphasizing long demonized saturated fat in a new set of dietary guidelines. So they're telling you what's good or not good for you in your dietary guidelines. 20 grams of saturated fat, 10% of calories from this, sugar out of that. In is dairy products like milk, cheese, and yogurt. Out is fruit juices and other sugar-sweetened beverages. In is saturated fats like unprocessed red meats, butter, and eggs. Out is refined carbohydrates like bread, pasta, and rice. Why don't I want to listen to them? Because these are the same people who just loosen restrictions on marijuana. You're trying to tell me marijuana is not as bad as, but this is. You get where I'm going with this? Consistency. Clear lack of. I was just reading that and thinking to myself, wait a minute, didn't they just loosen restrictions on marijuana? Why would I want to listen to him on saturated fats? And what does that have to do with you and your money and markets? Everything. They're doing a lot. They're doing too much. Just my opinion. Other news, U.S. seized a Russian-flagged tanker. Moscow is now threatening to seize American boats. Just again, the U.S. is demanding Venezuela sever all ties with Russia, Cuba, and Iran. Demanding. I'll repeat. I am in hopes everything works out for the best. We're rooting for them. We stand side by side with them. But as a voter and an American, the right to critique them. Because you always worry when you know somebody thinks they do nothing wrong and are omnipotent. That's for the markets also. I've met people that thought they can never, ever, ever in the market. And boy, did they get comeuppance. I will tell you, I look over my shoulder every day. I'm paranoid every day about anything and everything that I do. I make sure of that. So mushy day today. Big indices pull back, but not that bad. The Dow was down less than 1%. It's still above this little move. And as long as it holds the 50-day moving average, the spider, the S&P, hardly down. But you know this little breakout, it's a little bit underneath. One good day that can change that in a heartbeat. We do want to mention again, next week starts earnings. And that's where we take a step back and simply what we look for, reactions to great surprises. Companies expecting $2 billion in revenue does $2.9. And the next quarter they were expecting $2.4 and they're going to do $3.7. And they give you the whys and it's in the right group. Versus what we've seen with many a name on the opposite side, whether it be Cracker Barrel, man, oh man. By the way, I want to know why Cracker Barrel insiders are selling after it goes from 72 down to 30. That should scare the heck out of a shareholder. Just a note. And there's been a lot of blow-ups. Always watch for blow-ups. You own a stock that's $100 and opens up the next day on earnings at 88, you better take a close look. Why? because most often stocks that gap down on earnings will continue down because something is not right. And by the way, the opposite side, stocks that gap up, are usually a good thing because they're doing something right. While the gap down, something wrong is going on. The story today was the housing. I was on TV and said they're just in a bear market. Wouldn't go near them, wouldn't touch them. They had other people on that liked them. We're very good at knowing what a bear market looks like, how it traces out, the roadmap, and housing's in a bear. Bear markets remain in food and beverage and household products and tobacco and alcohol. Just brutal bear markets. Amazing. Never used to see a General Mills just rocking down the bear market. But the food thing is going on. The story is this Ozempic and Monwami and whatever the names are, people are going to eat less and eat differently. So that's a move afoot. And on the alcohol front, there's just a lot of less alcohol use. And knowing that I had 2 people very close die of pancreatitis from alcoholism, that is a great thing. Because I got news for you, and I never knew it until I saw it firsthand. Addiction is a war. It's a war. Anyway, that's that. Tomorrow's another day. You all have a great evening and drive carefully. And when you get home, do like I do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family and hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better, I promise. Stay well, be well. And just remember, I don't care about them. I care about you. Unfortunately, they run the show. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.